Traditions that tied us together. The Christmas tree chaos. We always got our tree from Uncle Leonard's farm, and Christmas of 1985 was no different. He had rows of evergreens growing behind his barn, and every December we bundled up and trampled through the snow until we found the right one. My mom, Diane, wanted one of the trees that was full but not too tall. Us kids wanted the biggest one in sight, and my dad, Barry, wanted whichever one was closest to the truck. After 20 minutes of back and forth, Dad let out a sigh, dropped to his knees, and started sawing the nearest spruce. "Good enough," he grumbled, and we all knew better than to argue. By the time we hauled it inside, the sap was sticky on our gloves, and needles trailed behind us like breadcrumbs. Dad lowered the tree trunk into the stand and tightened the screws, while Mom stood nearby, biting her lip. "It has a lean," she said. "It has character," Dad replied. The boxes of decorations emerged from the closet in a jumble, their lids half broken and tape from years past still clinging to them. I wrestled with untangling the lights, while my brothers and sister dug from their favorite ornaments. Dad looked doing the lights himself, even though he grumbled about it the whole time. He held each strand up to make sure the bulbs still worked, and then he circled the tree while he strung the lights. Mom trailed behind, shifting them around while he wasn't looking, so they hung straighter. The ornaments followed, glittery stars, old glass balls that had survived more Christmases than I had been alive, and the popsicle stick projects we made at school. Everyone wanted theirs in the front, so the poor branches sagged under the weight of it all. After the ornaments, Mom took over with the tinsel. That was her job, and everyone knew it. She pulled the strands out slowly, laying them across the branches while the rest of us complained she would keep us up all night. She paid no mind and kept going. When she finally stepped back, the lights caught the silver here and there, and the tree shimmered. My sister said it looked like a Christmas card. Dad muttered that it was beautiful, which for him was a high praise. Mom smiled a little bit. The dog stretched out under the branches, and the cat curled up on the skirt tree, and we all just sat there taking it in for a while. A neighbor had dropped off a plate of cookies and fudge, so we settled in with treats and a Christmas special on the TV. Dad poured himself eggnog and sank into the couch with a satisfied grunt. Mom perched on the edge of her chair, half watching the show, half watching the tree. That's when it started. It was only a shift at first, just enough for one little ornament to clink against another. Mom's hand went to Dad's knee. "It's leaning," she whispered. "It's fine," he said, eyes glued to the television. It wasn't fine. We had loaded every ornament we loved onto the front. The tree gave another slow tilt, and the cat's ears perked. The dog lifted his head. Mom sat up straighter, ready to leap if she had to. And then the tree began to move. It wasn't a crash so much as long as sweeping a forward motion. The branches slid toward us like a wave. The cat shot out from underneath the tree, launched himself off Dad's lap, and in the process knocked Dad's eggnog out of his hands and into his lap. The dog yelped as he scrambled across the hardwood and ran for his life. The branches smacked his backside as if the tree was chasing him. Ornaments rolled across the floor. The whole thing toppled onto the couch and leaned there half standing, half laying. Tinsel rained down the air and landed squarely on Mom's head like a silver crown. Nobody moved. We all turned to Dad. He sat there with eggnog soaking into his pants, mouth open, looking like he might explode. Instead, he snorted. Then he laughed, a real belly laugh. Relief flooded the room. We laughed too, louder and louder, until Mom was wiping tears from her eyes, still wearing the crooked crown of tinsel. Cleaning up wasn't as bad as it looked. Most of the ornaments were safe. Dad hauled the tree up right while I studied the base. Mom disappeared into the junk drawer and came back with twine. Dad drilled a little hook into the wall by the window and tied the trunk in place. Not pretty, but it held. We put the ornaments back onto the tree and handed Mom a balled up bunch of tinsel. The dog crept back into the room, sniffing warily, while the cat slunked from the far side. The following year, Dad tied the tree to the wall before a single ornament went on, and it became part of the decorating routine after that. The hook stayed there for years, a little scar in the wood, and every time we noticed it, someone would bring up the night the tree attacked. Merry Christmas from the Paawz house. Thank you, guys.